welcome to the Nichols Mindset Podcast. All right, today we got a special guest on the line today. We got my brother from U.S., from Texas. So we want to actually get his story. You know, he got a very compelling story because he served some time in the U.S. Army. And so we want to hear about that story, you know, how it all out. And so let's go ahead and get into that, right? So, hey, how's it going, Gobi? How's it going over there?
Pretty good. Early morning.
Okay, that's good. It's good. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm really excited to get you on the podcast and hear a little bit more about your story. And I just want to find out more about, U.S. Army. But before we get into that, I want to know, drove you to join the military. What was the motive behind it? You know, what made you, to serve the U.S. Army?
Well, it was age.
Mm-hmm.
I was 33 and a half when I enlisted. I finally got the basic training. So I was sitting at home, working at Walmart, truck driving, doing odd jobs and stuff like that, Pizza Hut delivery. And I figured, let me go and see if I'm still young enough to join, because I don't want to be regretting the decision if I would have missed that window,
Mm-hmm.
So I enlisted, and here I am.
I mean, because everybody have different story. For like joining the military. Like my story, was just like yourself. I graduated high school, went to college, dropped out of college. Worked the odd jobs. Just wanted to travel the world. You see all those commercials on TV, things like that. That you just want to do something different. Because I mean, as you know, we all have like in our family, we have a lot of people that serve some time in the military. Our lot, fathers, friends, many people. But so is it a reason why you chose the Army? I mean, because in the U.S. you have Marines, you have Navy, you have Coast Guard, all this and that. Is it something that drew you to that?
Surprisingly, I wanted to join the Army, but my first choice was the Marine Corps. But they said that I was too aggressive for them, which I don't understand, because they're supposed to be hardcore. So I went next door.
Uh,
What I know,
okay. Interesting. So, so once you went through that, so to give a little bit of context to people who don't know too much about the military, because in the U.S. It's voluntary, and I know like over here in Asia, it's like mandatory. I mean, not mandatory, but it's optional. But in the U.S., hold on, let me back that up a bit. In the U.S., it's optional, and over here it's mandatory. So you wanted to go into the military, like, what is the process? Like for somebody that wanted to join the military, what is the process?
First, clean up yourself. You're the best knower of what's wrong with you. If you have any addictions, stop it, fix it. If you have any medical issues, fix them. Get your medical records if it's something that actually happened to you, because that could be a qualifying or disqualifying factor.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any law enforcement issues, any records, anything minor, really is pretty much on what their guidelines are for enlisting. Because when I enlisted, there was pretty much a shortage.
Mm-hmm.
They were letting people in with tattoo waivers, minor crimes and things like that, because they needed the numbers. So GED with no college. It was a lot of them people in there. But you just got to make sure that all your background is clean, or as clean as possible, and that you're healthy and of age. That's on both ends of the scale, whether you're younger or older. You gotta be of age, gotta be in that window.
Okay. So once you did all the qualifying, things like that. So you go to a thing called like basic training. What is that, like what, 1 month, 2 months? How long is that?
No, ours, I went in September 28th, got out of reception at October 4th, graduated January 28th. So that's October, November, December, January. It was like 14 weeks.
Oh, okay. So they teach you all the necessities to be able to become a soldier, like just to give a
They
brief context. Yeah.
they teach you how to survive.
Uh,
They teach you new skills. They teach you the new you because most of the time when people go into basic training, some go in trying to be PT studs, which means they gym rats, as
mhm,
as you know in the modern world.
yeah.
Hey, look at your arm, and then you see the other dude stand next to you with big old cannons on his. Like,
Uh,
hey, uh, yeah, those kind of guys, they pretty much break them too. You
uh-huh.
know, they make you into what they want you to be.
Yeah.
You know, which is
Okay.
the best trained soldier in the world.
True. True. All right. So you do 14 weeks, and your occupation in the military. What was it again?
I was 11 Bravo, which is simply a skill designator. I was infantry,
Okay.
which means that I was in the civilian world a police officer.
Okay.
We not a police officer per se, but we go on missions and do what the job requires us to do, whether it's capture or something like that, or patrol. But we were the primary training force.
Ah, okay, okay. So like once all right, so it's backtrack. So you joined the military. From there, you did your basic training after you got qualified. You went through your basic training, 14 weeks. You did your survival training, to become a better you. And then from after that, you go to after that, so what happens? Where do you go after that, after your basic training?
I went to my first. Well, first I went home because they wanted me on hometown recruiting. So I did that for about 12 to 14 days,
Mhm.
um, which mean I had to, get up every morning uh, during the duty week and go to the local recruiter station and go with them to high schools and things like that. Pretty much shadow them, just like you would in a regular job when they hire you. They put you on with somebody, be like, okay, you're going to shadow this person for like the first week,
Uh-huh.
so that you get the idea of how to do the job, and then they throw you in the water.
Yeah, okay. Nice. So after you got to your duty station, did you have any like doubts for joining or any second guessing, or is you already this after going through everything, the training, this is something you knew that you wanted to do?
No, my biggest fear when I got to my duty station, because I went out west.
Hmm.
At first, they was gonna put me in Fort Polk, Louisiana, which I was there at the age of 19, about to turn 20. When my older brother was stationed there,
Uh-huh.
and I was a civilian. I was like, "There's nothing there. It's hot.
Would
It's in the woods. It's They have a pink trailer outside the gate that was a pawn shop, and probably Walmart and Sonic was like the biggest businesses that I saw there. So I was like, oh,
so where'd you end up
yeah.
going to?
I went to Fort Lewis, Washington,
Ah, okay, okay.
and then I was really scared because I saw a movie called Dante's Peak,
Hmm.
which was right down the street, pretty much from where I was stationed at, and the Mount Rainier. That's an active volcano, but it's beautiful though.
Uh,
Nothing ever happened there when I was there, except snow and windstorms and stuff like that. But it was a beautiful place.
uh, I hear this saying though, like it rains a lot. 'Cause I remember I coming to visit you over there, and they said it rains like,
7 days straight of rain.
Wow. That's a lot of rain.
67.
Uh-huh. That
Yeah.
took some adjustment.
No, I actually liked it.
Uh-huh.
Because look, I'm gonna tell you something about inclement weather, right? A lot of people don't like it, but I see it as an opportunity because we went to the mall, we went to Walmart, we went to the movie theater, and guess what? People don't like to come out in the rain, so we had close up parking spots, and they have to deal with a lot of people.
Um,
Because it was hiding from the rain. It was. Uh, I went to the dumpster one day, right? And they say out there that a lot of people don't like to go to Fort Lewis, Washington because um, of the rain. You know, they say there's a high suicide rate, and I'm like, wow, really? And one day I went to go. I came home from duty, and I was walking over to the dumpster to empty the trash. This lady in the other housing unit, she came outside in her robe, and she was like, "Oh, this rain is so depressing. Doesn't it make you just want to kill yourself?" And I'm like,
no, it would
"I said, you haven't like, yeah,
make me want to get an
haven't
umbrella.
said." And I wanted to get as far away from that conversation as possible. Don't want to implicate me in nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, when I heard that, I was like, "Yo, that's really real.
Mhm.
People really get depressed over being indoors because of rain." And I'm like,
Yeah.
rain is a blessing. All the beautiful trees, you got all that oxygen to breathe.
Yeah.
you, got, you
Exactly.
got vegetables and no drought,
Yeah.
water supply.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a plus to it. Yeah.
Your feet might get wet because you got to jump across a lake to get to your car. But hey,
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a experience there, right there. So after that, I mean, because me, just to get a little bit of context to some of the listeners, and I also was in the 101st, so it's same. Because actually, before that, I was just doing honor guard, but once I went
or
to
it can't.
101st Fort Campbell, Screaming Eagles, because I think if I wouldn't have went into the 101st, I wouldn't be able to really relate to you, like because you'll go to the woods a lot, and at that time I wasn't, but how is it going into the woods for people, because we lived out in the woods for 30 days at a time, even longer, where we really got to get adjusted to that. Like you going from civilian world to living in the woods, from eating, living in the ground, digging holes and things like that. How was that an adjustment for you?
It was just like being a kid again.
Mhm.
You know, it, a lot of people don't like to get dirty, but you're a soldier. You got dirty in basic training to get where you at. So I mean, it's something called washing machines and nail brushes. You just clean yourself up, but being out in the woods, that was fun because you learn how to live. You
Yeah,
learn how to live off the grid,
yeah,
making fill latrines, which are toilets, holes in the ground with sticks and stuff. You sit on it and you make burn pits and uh build your little hasting where you dig your hole and you put your sleeping bag in and put your tent around and all kind of stuff like that. So yeah, you learn how to do a lot of stuff. Learn how to start a fire,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
learn different knots and things like that. So yeah,
Uh,
living in the woods is helpful. Yeah.
yeah,
Now running up against a bear or a coyote or something, then you gotta do
yeah, a little different. Right? Put the feelers in my weapon. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I remember those times. Yeah, it was definitely it was hard a bit during that time, but when you think back, it was fun. I mean, because you bonded with your brothers. I mean, you're the people that you're going to be going to war with, which takes to the next subject. You know, because me, actually, I got out before we was about to get ready to go to Iraq, because 101st, they always like deploy people to all parts of the world. And so when the war broke out in Iraq, I was supposed to go, but I got out like right before that. And then once I got over to Singapore, I logged on the internet, and actually my platoon ended up being on the front page of Yahoo because they just deployed over there. And so I think at that time you haven't actually had went over there. What year did you start the process to get ready to go to Iraq?
Well, we came down on orders, uh, 2006, but we didn't actually deploy until 2007
Uh-huh.
on Easter Sunday,
Ah, okay.
April 8th.
So when you got those orders, like, I mean, maybe you had mixed emotions. Maybe it was like, I know because some people that was in my unit, they was like gun ho, ready to go to war, but for yourself, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I would probably have mixed emotions. I want to do it, but then I won't want to do it. And then I feel like I would have to do it. I mean, because at least, the people you train with, that you spend like months and months together, that, hey, they got your back because we train together, we live together, we in the woods together. So it's like, if you just like, cop out, like, nah, I ain't doing this, but you kind of let your brothers down. In your case, what was your thinking?
Nah, when we first came down on orders, because we started out as a brand new unit. Well, we reflagged from Fort Polk to Fort Lewis. So when we got there, our highest leadership at the time was like probably a staff sergeant or maybe a sergeant first class, platoon sergeant. We didn't have a first sergeant uh, right off the bat. Uh, they would just fill it in. And then we didn't even have weapons. So we would go across the street into the woods, and we would be using sticks and using our hands, to act as our weapons, because we was a brand new unit. We was waiting on funding and stuff like that. And then when those orders came down, that's when we started getting the vehicles, and they started sending people to, training to operate and drive the vehicles. And, then we had the land warrior uh, that was cutting edge at the time uh, for the battlefield. All that futuristic, seeing the battlefield and the eyepiece and stuff like that. We had all of that, but initially, uh, it was cool because reality hadn't set in yet until we actually started training, you know, um, as to what was actually going on in Iraq. We do things called lessons learned, and every time rules of engagement change, every time uh, something would change, and we're adapting stateside, to get ready for, when we actually go over. So that was what scared me. I stopped eating. Um,
Uh,
I stopped drinking. I tried to call my dad and was like, yo, I'm your only son, really, get me out of here. I got scared.
yeah.
I wasn't relying on my training. And what he told me, he said, uh, get your behind. I'm not
Uh,
going to cuss. He said, get your behind, straight, finish what you started.
mhm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That's not the answer I was looking for. But
Exactly, right? Supposed to be my boss. He's supposed to be on my side. I'm gonna talk to I'm gonna
but
call DC, get you out of there.
but see, this is the thing though, because he he actually was drafted. He didn't have a choice.
Uh,
Me, the reason why I went in so late, I was 19 when I graduated high school. Took the ASVAB in my senior year. I took it in my junior year and my senior year. And both times uh, a war was going on. So I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. So I did other stuff. And every time I went to reenlist, I mean, not reenlist, but to, join up, there was a conflict going on. I was like, nah, I wanted to join in peacetime though. And so this time I just was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and listen in what I I think was the worst war. I
Uh,
could have went when I was younger. I would have been good.
exactly. I still remember that day. I still remember that day when I was at Fort Campbell, coming home from PT from physical training, and I saw the Twin Towers. That day changed everything. We were on high alert. That same soon them towers hit, plane hit, boom, was back. We was ready for war already. We started training. We started going everything. Yeah, I mean, I can't relate to you when you got those orders, but I mean, I can feel you. I can understand. I mean, because I remember they used to tell us how we can be anywhere in the world in like 36 hours. So one day you could be civilian world
And
in a Walmart, that's your
for
thing,
real.
and then the next day you in a war zone. So it's like, how that, how do your mind catch up? I mean, just a few hours ago you was at Walmart. Now you in a war zone.
Yep, that's exactly how it is. And always notice that's why they always tell you to maintain uh, your arms, your equipment, and yourself in that order.
Yeah.
you know,
So got on that bird. For those who don't know the bird, we call it in the army, we call it the bird, the C-130, C-30, whatever it might be. You on
I
that?
thought that truck was gonna fall apart, man. We was in so much turbulence.
Uh-huh.
I told that because we was on one of them jumbo commercial liners once we got to Maine,
Mhm.
on our way to overseas. And it was so much turbulence on that thing. I said, hey, I'm going to sleep, don't bother me, you know. And I slept pretty much the whole way until I heard Rocky on TV. So I woke up and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta watch Rocky."
Yeah.
That's like right up the street from us in Philly. I'm in Chester, and we see the city from there. On the highway. Hey, that's Rocky. I gotta watch that. And luckily, dinner was being served, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, yeah."
For that 2 hours though, you can just feel relaxed. Like you back at home watching Rocky,
Back.
but once that plane hit the ground, how was that?
Um, they didn't even open the doors. We got extended on the tarmac in Kuwait, uh, from 12-month deployment to I think he was over there for 18 months.
Mhm. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
And we were the most requested unit in the whole war.
Wow. Yeah.
Everybody
So let's break that down. Let's break that down. So to give some of the listeners what you went through over there, and how you going to summarize it once you got to your unit in Iraq. Like let's break it down on a daily, briefly how that go on a daily, and dealing with contact, if you dealt with contact, and like, yeah, just try to give us a overview of, what went on when you got there.
um, the first thing you wanna do is hydrate. They call it acclimate yourself to the environment. Kuwait was hot, but Iraq got hot.
Uh-huh.
It was 127 degrees in the shade at noon. So that's one thing that you had to deal with. The other thing you had to deal with was sleep deprivation. And then after that, you had to deal with the mission, So all of this is all combined, you know, daily. It's hot, cold. I don't think we had any rain. I don't think it rained over there. I know it snowed, but yeah, I don't think it rained at all that I remember. I can recall. I know it snowed one time, and I know it got cold, but it also got real hot too. It was like Texas, But yeah, over there, you first got to acclimate yourself, and you know there you really got to take care of yourself, because
Uh,
you can become a heat casualty, real quick, not drinking the right things. Like over there, soda is readily available, but everywhere you turn, there's pallets of water, like cases and cases of water that you can actually just walk up and take. But like I said, there's coffee shops and, you know, uh, Coca-Cola was like real big, that and Sprite. And those sugary things can really, put a toll on your body, when you're out there with all that gear on and the heat and, uh, your heightened mentality, so you got to actually, you know, eat right when you're in combat.
yeah. So tell us more about the combat. I mean, you hydrated, one and ready, you're ready to go. So, like,
It was,
yeah, like a,
it
it
was,
was like a,
it was,
uh-huh,
it was mentally draining because, things happen before you actually roll out the wire, which means leave the base to go on a mission. And, you hearing these things and you might be indirectly involved in it. Like you might be running, might be in the food court or might have just left the food court where all the little Subways and McDonald's and things like that are that might have just got mortared, you know, and
explain about the mortar for people who don't
you
know,
hear about
like, what you dealing with.
uh, they shooting bombs at you
Oh.
or this or
Wow.
throwing grenades over the wall, you know? And yeah, they got that close and you be like, how? It was just that hot that stuff happened to equipment and you got to go retrieve that equipment and, refit your environment,
Uh-huh.
to,
Wow. So,
to secure your environment.
wow. So you're leaving your base to go out for combat, but then you also have to worry about combat where you're sleeping at.
Yeah,
Not
because,
that, but yeah, indirectly, yeah.
like, uh, remember back in the day when uh, Saddam had invaded Kuwait
Mhm.
and he had those Scud missiles, and everybody was joking about the Scud missiles. They ain't nothing.
Yeah.
They don't shoot straight. They're not accurate. Well, it don't take no accuracy to just throw something somewhere, and if it hits something, cool. If it don't, cool.
Yeah.
We got more.
Exactly.
And that's pretty
Like,
much how it was.
throw, like throwing stuff on the wall, see whatever sticks.
But yeah, man, it was pretty rough over there because you know you got this beautiful country. Now that's the only place that I've been in this world that I actually see classes of people coexist with each other and be perfectly fine in their little space. Like you would see a big old mansion next to a little house, next to a mud hut made out of those oil cans and things like that. And they just willy nilly, like, hey, we here.
Uh, yeah.
In my neighborhood, if I live next to a mud hut, I'd be over at city council, be like, yo, y'all need to do something about this little place over here. It's just bringing my property value down, but it wasn't like that over there.
Uh-huh.
You know, people was actually cool with leaving their house with a horse and donkey, with a donkey in a wagon, and then you got somebody driving an Audi or something, and then somebody next door to them got a Mercedes Benz or a limo.
Uh-huh.
It really didn't matter.
So, I mean, I watch all these war movies like Black Hawk Down, all these ones. So when you
Yes.
go out and those bullets start flying, I mean, do you ever come in contact with IEDs like bombs or, because
Yeah, we were at a couple close proximity IED explosions. Um, one we set on overnight because the EOD, which is the guys that go out and when there's a report of a bomb, they'll send a unit out to, you know, pretty much destroy the bomb, repair the road, and then, you know, they'll mark it, spray paint it with an X after they put the cement and stuff over the road and stuff like that, so that they know if somebody tampered with it. Well, one night they didn't want to, uh, they didn't want to wait, so we got tasked out to sit there all night in what was considered a hot LZ because the ID was just exploded like hours ago. So how do we know that that area was safe? We sat on top of one all night until me and my one of my leadership got into it over our internal radio um as to why we should move. And I'm pulling security, which means I'm on my machine gun. And this was like probably 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. We sitting there watching paint and concrete dry. And I see some birds fly up in the distance. So I'm like, hey, we got any troops over there? And they like, no, ain't no troops on the ground. I said, well, these birds just flew. So I'm like, I go straight back to my street training, you know, and I'm like, birds don't fly at night unless somebody mess with them or they move in their space, you know? So I told I told my platoon sergeant, I said, hey, uh, the only reason birds would fly at night is if somebody was over there. Cause they're not just gonna, fly off in a panic just for nothing. And he was like, well, we don't have any troops on the open board, so what you talking about? And I said, well, I said if I knew it was my last night and to have sex with my wife, be a father to my kids and all that stuff, I would go out and check my equipment too, you know? And so the major jumped on the net. He was like, hey, we're gonna move forward 50 meters. So we moved forward. There was one vehicle behind us. They was in the spot that we were sitting on top of all night. And that's where the IED that was missed was at. Soon as it was daylight, soon as that sun started coming up and they did the call and everything for prayer. Uh After that, that's when the duty hit the fan, you know?
So another water jet went over.
Yeah.
Casualties
The
or
one that I was
injuries?
yeah, yeah, it was casualties.
Oh wow.
It blew the engine block straight up through the striker and then pulled it back down.
And you was like what, 50 meters away from it. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Rough. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. I didn't even know that story. That's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yep.
So how do you I'm not sure if the right question though, but how do you move on from that?
You just had to.
You had to. This is how many days in already? Or weeks, months?
Um, I don't even remember the exact time that happened, but it was in the summer. Um, it was a lot of stuff that happened
So many things.
in that area. I mean, we went on to like 160 something missions. Uh, yeah, we was out there.
Uh,
Yep. But yeah, that was just one of them. And like I said, it was we had equipment failures at times, and we had to go out and correct those issues because it was so hot. And we was wondering how can they get so close to, throw a grenade over the wall,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know? So we had to fix those things.
'Cause I remember I was in Singapore when you was over there, and yeah, I mean, 'cause I knew you do well over there because I mean, knowing you, your brothers and everything, you always had that a sense of awareness, like always, you worried about the person in front of you, worried about the people to the left, to the right, behind you. And I think having those, like you mentioned, like street smarts, like being able to, just be aware of surroundings, because that's something that not everybody have. I mean, you can have, the textbook, they can show you how to do this, but you have to have the street smarts. They got to come along with it, like in life, in business, definitely in the military.
My whole thing was, you know, uh, it came a point when we started referring to home not as back here, but the bait. You know, hey, my whole thing is when we roll out, if I ask you how you doing, is everything okay? Don't answer me rhetorically. I'm asking you for a reason because I'm good. If I'm not good, I'm gonna let you know I'm not good. Hey, I'm not in a good headspace right now. And that's the kind of person that you shouldn't have on a mission because it could be the meaning of life and death for either that individual or somebody else.
Mhm.
And you don't want that on the battlefield, even if it's just for a humanitarian reason and you going somewhere that you think is quote unquote soft. You know, complacency kills.
Oh, exactly. Yep.
Complacency kills. And anytime that you complacent, whether it's handing out soccer balls to kids or anything like that, anything can happen. And we never lost nobody uh in my immediate team, but you know, uh some people had, playing catch with kids and they stuff a grenade inside a soccer ball and throw it back to you and you get blown up. That wasn't gonna happen on my watch, you
Yeah.
know, and that's supposed to be a humanitarian mission. Like, uh, we here to help you, and this is what we get, but the show goes on.
Next man up.
Our job was to, our job is not to come kill you and harm you. We trying to win the hearts and the minds of the people.
Mhm.
We here giving up our lives to make sure that you have a better one.
Yeah.
That's self-sacrifice right there. That's really the meaning of selfless.
Mhm.
When you go above and beyond a- anything that's wrong with you to help somebody else.
True. Yeah. Yeah. On top of that, though, yeah, because when I was, I mean, it wasn't a war zone, but when I was stationed in Jordan for about, almost a year, 6 months, a year, something like that, I always heard this saying, is that when you're over there, like in a war zone or, overseas and you're doing a mission, sometimes you got to put the wife, the home, out of your mind because if you on that battlefield, you start thinking about home, you start, like say, you start getting complacent, start thinking about home, you start thinking about, what you used to do back at home and all this, a wife, family, all that. I mean, at times that can, take your life because, you worried, because you need to be focused on the mission at hand. You can't be worried about what's going on back at home. I guess you use that time when you go back to go back to your consider home, in Iraq, the base. You might have a little bit of time, let your mind think about what's going back at home, but then you got to switch it back.
Yeah, it's rough because it was times when, like I said, we was in uh, a really really volatile area. Like it was really going down like almost every single day. And if it wasn't going down every single day, something was being planned on those quiet days. And quiet over there,
You don't want
is not good.
that. Yeah. You gotta hear some fireworks. You're like,
You're like, hey, we went uh from Bakuba all the way up to Baghdad on September 11th over there. I think it was September 10th here in the States. But we left Bakuba and went there because the colonel had to do something over near the intelligence agency. So we had to go there. And that was the first time I've been to the green zone. And I was like, yo, we had like zero contact that whole time that we was up there. And that was the same day that I got busted up when we got back to our base, our actual base to regroup, refit, and things like that before we went back out there to where we were. And I went in there hooping and hollering, and I came out all no, I went in there hooping and hollering. It came out bloody, knee all banged up, and uh, my hand was cut, and all kinds of stuff. They said, "What the hell happened to you just that quick?" I said, "Hey, I tripped over a antenna wire and went airborne and hit my head on the cement block that the air conditioner was sitting on." But they always used to tease me because I never took off my gear when we was at base. They said, "Hey, ground your gear and stuff," and I'm like, "Nah, I keep my helmet on. I kept everything on." So that was me all the time. I'm always ready. And then
lay
I,
it down on with a full battery.
I never, yo, I never, even when I was in like my PT uniform, like my shorts and socks and stuff like that, and we go down to the pool or whatever to shoot pool or play games and stuff. I always had like my rigger's belt around my waist with my reflector PT belt, but I took some of my magazines and put them on my rigger belt, so I had I had ammo,
Yeah.
with my rifle. So I was always ready. They're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I said, "Hey, I got my 8-pack over here. I got my ammo here. I got my canteen back here." I said, "Yo, I'm good. Let's go." It said, we going to the deep pack. It's steak night. I said, "Okay." I said, "There's something going down, and we far away from the striker and I get it. How you gonna fight with no ammo?"
Yeah. If you're
That's
they ready, you don't got to get ready.
And look, they used to tease me because I wore long socks all the way up to my knees. They're like, "Yo, why don't you wear some ankles or something like that?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I need to keep my legs cool because they got bugs and stuff out here that bite you." I said, "No, I'm good." So I'm walking around looking like this total jack behind. I said, "Hey, but I'm ready though."
Uh, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's like the movie Black Hawk Down I was talking about. Like they're like, "Oh, I'm going for a mission. Oh, you don't need your night vision. We're only gonna be going for like an hour." And oh no, you
Nah,
don't need this stuff. We're only gonna be going for out next. You know, it's a mission award. Hey, you gotta be ready. Stay ready. You don't got to get ready.
yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah. With that being said, though, like you did your time over there. What's one key takeaway that you could take from that whole situation that did over there? Like now that you back in the U.S. when you got back, what was one of the positive things that you can take away from it?
Well, I got to see uh what I think was the birthplace of civilization because it's a whole lot of stuff over there in Iraq that you actually see. Like they say the Garden of Eden was in the Bible, they says uh between the Tigris and Euphrates River. If you look at the map, if you look at any map, you'll see that those Tigris and Euphrates rivers where they go. And you do the math after that. I ain't gonna tell you what to look for, you're gonna look for it. but um, when we was riding, coming from Baghdad, um, there was a arch, a big old arch that we rode through, and it had an Arabic and English. It said, "Welcome to the land of Ur. You are." And I said, "That's where Abraham was from." Makes you say, "Wow."
So for
The
yourself,
tiger,
like for yourself though, what you character wise or like mental wise?
um, character wise, what I got from over there, how to deal with people. You know, it's the proper handling of people. Uh, when you over there, I mean, I know, granted, sometimes uh, some of them didn't like us and wanted to, get rid of us, but uh, it was some beautiful people over there. You learn not to categorize and what they call that stigmatize people just because they look a certain way. You know, because I could have easily been like, everybody's a terrorist.
Yeah,
If they don't look like me, they don't wear this flag, everybody's a terrorist. But it was actually some good people over there. So that it taught me how to not be judgmental based on looks. Now, when you talk to me and you don't give me the same respect that I give you, then you got yourself a problem on your hands. But other than that, no. Mental wise, uh, coming back to the States, it was rough because
yeah, that's what I want to know more
they
about
tell
that transition.
they tell you to turn it off because you're back stateside now. But uh, if you can remember when we came back in '08, that's when all the mass shootings were happening, like in movie theaters and you know um, finding uh, IEDs on the side of roadways. At exits in Washington and stuff like that. And we're supposed to turn this stuff off. We're supposed to turn war off, but stuff like this is happening at home. So it's a big disconnect. You know, how we supposed to leave war over there when war is right here? The same stuff we was dealing with over there. Ain't nobody blown themselves up yet over here, which I hope never happens. But you know, people do bomb stuff and they do uh go to places that they see as soft targets and they light people up. You can't even go to church or to the mosque or to the synagogue without people acting the fool, you know? So how we supposed to turn it off?
Yeah,
Like I said, complacency kills. Okay,
I mean
I can't, I can't bring my gun in the church. Okay, so I leave it in my car. Let something go down while I'm in church or in my mosque or my synagogue. Uh, if I get out, you got a problem.
yeah,
you know, but
mm,
yeah, they tell us to turn it off, but how we supposed to? I mean, every day, even to this day, you tell me how we supposed to just act like everything's good. You can't even go to the beach anywhere globally. You can't even go to ride a train or anything without somebody acting suspicious or leaving something suspicious. How we supposed to turn it off? See, the war never leaves. We like a bunch of Rambos in the first blood.
yeah, yeah.
How we supposed to turn it off? You
I
got
think that's
people
why
out
I
in
got to.
Washington.
What?
You got people out in Washington calling us baby killers and things like that. How you supposed to turn that off? We over there fighting for you so that you can say what you want to say, but you don't even have the common decency to say thank you. We don't agree with what you did, but thank you. But you want to call us animals and killers and all this stuff? Who the hell are you to judge me? And you sat home and did nothing.
True. I mean, I think of it like this. I mean, you have the politics, you have whatever's going on, in Washington D.C., whatever. I mean, I don't really get into that. I won't even touch that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You on that battlefield. It's not the ones over there. You're on the battlefield, so that stuff got to go out the window. I mean, it's you and your battle buddy. Y'all just trying to get back home safe, do the job, and get to finish the mission and go back home. Yeah, but to deal with all that and then leave a war zone, but then you go back into a war zone, but it's just different. Like I remember I don't know if we want to talk about the incident, but the incident where you went back to Fort Hood, Texas, and it had one of the biggest like mass shootings on military base, and that was some serious stuff right there. I was right before this podcast, I was looking that up, and I remember you telling me you had I think you had lost somebody when a young lady, and
I lost two.
to and that was, I mean, if people want to know more about that, y'all can just Google that. But I mean, I ain't gonna go into too much
And
detail on that. But
Francesca Valles and Jason Hunt.
yeah, because this
Yeah.
to give a bit
And
of
both of
context.
them, both of them I saw that day. Valles came in. I'm sitting at my desk, and it was like 5:30 in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I've never been. I mean,
Uh,
even through basic training, I get up when I'm supposed to. Matter of fact, I was up before a lot of people were.
uh,
And I'm not a morning person. But like I said, they make you into what they want you to be. So, she come in, and I'm throwing my count and stuff like that for the people I'm responsible for. And I'm saying, Valet, because she come in speaking to everybody. She was pregnant. She was about to go on leave, uh, so she could have a baby. And she stopped it. She got parade. I said, "Hey, relax. Don't get a parade rest. Relax." And, and she was like, "What's going on, sir?" I said, "Why the hell you come in here happy every morning?" I said, "You know what time it is? The sun ain't even out yet." And she said, "Every day's a good day to be alive." And I was like, I said, "Yo, that was her spirit,
mhm.
And then she runs into this monster. Hunt, he was the same way. This dude, he never complained about nothing. That day, we were supposed to get off at. They usually let us off at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Back then, it changed now, but um, that was supposed to be come to work, do what you got to do, so we can get out of here at 2. That whole day was quiet. I was on the phone at 10 o'clock with my dad, talking about telling him what I saw. I said, "It's an accident over here at the light, and it's another accident over there at that light." I said, "That's the only action I see." The MPs filling out the reports and stuff like that. Uh, he was like, I said, "Dad, today is just like quiet. It's quiet. I don't like quiet." I said, something just don't seem right." And he said, "Well, just get your duty day over with and, you know, uh, relax." So I get off the phone with him, go back over to um, where I was working at headquarters, and we getting ready for lunch. And we come back from lunch, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I said, you got to go over to SRP and finish your processing." And he said, "They're not even supposed to be open today. We supposed to get out early today." But he went, and Matter of fact, I was just coming back from lunch when I heard the shots. Because believe it or not, right next to SRP at the House Theater, they was practicing for funeral details. So they got blank rounds and they shooting those, you know, trying to get in sync. And when I heard the shots, I'm like, I'm probably like a block and a half away at headquarters. And I'm like, those not blank rounds. It's a slight difference because of the gunpowder ratio and stuff in the bullets and blank rounds. So I'm like, yo, and then I heard some more, and I heard some more, and so phone calls start coming in. Hey, it's shooting at the PX, it's commissary, housing area. So MPs are locking stuff down because they don't know what's what because all they getting is 911 calls and things like that. And you know, I'm running across the field to get back to the building, and they say, "Hey, go to the arms room and uh, get yourself a weapon." So I'm at the door. I'm on the door. They said, "Get all the civilians," because they was doing construction and stuff. They said, "Get them into a secure location and tell them to lock the doors and don't open." So because we didn't know what was going on, all we knew was that shots were fired and there's casualties, and I could still hear the shots going off. So I'm like, yo, this is really real. I need to get somewhere. And, so if it comes over here, I'll be able to help defend because, I ain't trying to be doing no hand again with go to no knife, no gunfight with a knife.
That right.
I was like, hey man, they came and they locked the building down. And I'm like, where's Hunt? Because we doing a head count. Nobody knew where Hunt is, but we knew where we sent them. We like, all right, maybe they locked down over there too. And it's like when the night went on, they killed the cell phone communication, period. It was you can't use your cell phone anywhere. You call and it's like, nope, no signal. So that was base wide. And we in this building locked down and they put us on post. Where they put me, Mr. Old Reliable, uh, they put me on the door. Not inside the door,
Uh,
on the inside of the outside door.
oh,
When you come in the building and
yeah,
you
yeah.
got that little area, and then you go into the other door, and then you in the actual lobby. I was in that little space. And who was the first people that came up? My first sergeant and my commander. And I had orders to search anybody coming in this building. And if they didn't consent to search, to either take them out or take them down, regardless. That was my orders if they didn't comply. So I searched the captain and he did everything I asked him to. I told him to stand over there. And then I told the first sergeant, I said, approach me, put your binder down and turn around, please. I'm your first sergeant. I don't care. I said, first sergeant, I said, with all due respect, I said, can you turn around and assume the position? I'm your first sergeant, Morrison. You know me. I said, I have orders. And I said, if you don't comply, I'm going to have to take you down. I said, I'm going to make you comply to the search one way or another. I said, uh, so I'm asking you first, Sergeant, please turn around and assume the position I could see over in the corner of my eye, right? All I saw was this. His shoulders just captain over there. He ready to bust out and laughing. He didn't believe that uh the first sergeant didn't believe that uh what he read pretty much about me,
Mhm.
you know, and what he heard. Because there was a couple guys in my unit that came with me from Fort Lewis that ended up in that same company. And, they told him, they said, hey, Morris is no holds. He do his job and his whole thing is um anybody that's with him or he's with or himself to get home safely that day. And he don't care whether you man, woman, or child. If you affect the outcome that he's looking for, then you're done. And I told him, I said, hey man, uh, just turn around and assume the position. I said, this is the last warning. And I stepped back, you know, and I'm ready. I'm ready to draw. And I said, he said, I don't believe this S. You know, that we're gonna talk tomorrow. And I said, that's all well and good, first son. I said, but you will comply. And he was like, I don't rate you. And I said, I don't care. I said, I got general orders. I said, you will comply with these orders. And I searched him and everything, and they went on in the building. And that next day, he had an earful for me, and he was like, "Man, I wish I could have had you with me when I was when I was deployed." He said, "Look, I done pushed first sergeants, sergeant majors down in the dirt, and pulled majors, by the arm, out of harm's way, because that was my job to protect them. Yeah, I ain't got time to be, politically correct. You know, one sergeant major, he was like, why are you touching me? I said, because I said a bolo came out in this cat right here that we marked in his vehicle. And, his vehicle fit the description. So, you know, and I said, I looked at the dude because, you know, over in Iraq, they claim they don't speak no English or understand English until they get captured and you about to turn them over to the Iraqi army. Then they speak all kind of English, you know. And I said, this dude was just looking like right in my face, like as I was talking to him about the car. And so I grabbed Sergeant Major by the arm and I said, come over here, and like to guide him away from the dude so I could tell him what was over the radio. And he was like, he looked down, was like, why are you touching me? I said, because I said, this dude is like really, really paying attention to what we said. You think he don't understand English? He don't need no interpreter, you know? And it came back that the dude wasn't the guy that caught him. But I said, he was really paying attention too much to what I was saying to you about what I heard over the radio. And I said, I don't like that, you know? And I said, as far as I'm concerned, that dude was a threat to me and my family, which is you and everybody on this detail right here, to get back home safe. And I said, I ain't going for that. You know, I said, I ain't going for that. And he was like, don't you ever in your life put your hands on me again. I said, if I need to, I will. Sorry, babe.
Yeah, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, man. With that being said, man, coming to the end of the podcast, I just wanna is anything you want to share before we end it out? Like for, some vets out there that might be listening to this, like, because there's a lot of people came home with, stress, PTSD, all this.
PTSD,
Yeah. And
depression.
then like, it's going to be
Go,
a lot of people are going to be listening to this. So, you know, just get some closing thoughts for, the people out there.
yes, the mission continues. Take care of your arms, your equipment, and yourself. I know you got weapons. I know you ain't got no problem getting those, but you got to take care of yourself, man. Mental health is and physical health, all of that stuff, alcoholism, drug abuse. Go to the VA and get seen. Believe me, it seems like uh, they give you a hard way to go when you're there trying to get care, but go to see your psychiatrist at the VA or get into a support group at the VA in the PTSD clinic because it's useful. The ringing that you have in your ears from all the gunfire and explosions and things like that, it's real. Go get your hearing checked. Go get evaluated. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, man. It's nothing wrong because you know uh, being in the support group. I tried the one-on-one consultation with the psychiatrist, and all they want to do is not read your file. They want to talk to you and have you open up old cans that you closed a long time ago and you got locked back here. You know, support groups, you don't have to talk. You talk when you want to, but they give you exercises and things to, learn how to cope, whether it's counting down or removing yourself uh from vices that from triggers that trigger uh your PTSD and things like that. You learn how to find out what those triggers are. Write down your story, and that way you start to recall things that you don't often remember when uh you're out. You know, start to write stuff down, and that way you learn how to create some kind of balance. You're never going to get back to normal. It's never going to be here again, but it's all right to be right here. You know, learn how to. I mean, in those support groups, you talk to older vets, and you might see some that you serve with. You might run into them on the street, but guess what? It's somebody to talk to. If you contemplating suicide, don't do it. Find somebody to talk to. There's somebody that will listen. You know, you're not in this war alone. This is not just your fight. You got a battle buddy out there. Go find them. You know, mental health is necessary just as well as your physical health. If you haven't had a colonoscopy, get it done. Don't wait till you 45 or 50 like they say. Preventive medicine is when you need to get it done. Because who to say uh when you get to your 45 or your 50 year that a little small growth that you could have caught could have been, taken out and eliminated. Now you wait 5 to 7 years later when you think that you're not old enough and you 38. Uh, I ain't got to get that done yet. What if it grows into something because of your bad habits, and then you 45, 50 years old, you know, got to be in chemo and all kinds of stuff like that. Nah, I ain't trying to do that. Mental health is just as good as physical health. Take care of yourself. Go get seen. It's nothing that's gonna make you look small by seeking help,
Yeah. Cause I mean,
even if it's
mental health,
even
you
if
have
it's
that.
just a voice.
Yeah. Cause I think a lot of people had that stigma. I mean, I knew about mental health. I mean, I wasn't really on it, but now, like last couple of months or so, I've been looking into it more. Yeah, I mean, it's just people had that stigma that, oh, mental health. Oh, something wrong with your brain. You're crazy, this and that. But at the end of the day, it's not even about that. It's, like you said, it's just about getting help.
Yeah, you got to find your normal. You know, I look. I used to be an alcoholic. I was the worst kind because I didn't think I was. You know, I had liquor in my corner in my kitchen that was stacked up to the ceiling. You would think that you were walking into Total Wine Bear Distributor or something, walking into my kitchen. And open the refrigerator, the drawers where the vegetables and the fruit go, that was filled with beer. I had everything you wanted when you came over my house, and I think that I didn't think I had a problem. But what I was doing, I was self medicating through alcohol because I didn't want to get put on pills and medication and stuff like that from this psychiatrist because that's all they wanted to do was treat me with medicine. And I'm like, how you gonna treat something mental with something physical? And I said, I got physical at the house. I'm gonna go drink everywhere. I mean, everywhere I went, every time I went with somebody, I drunk. It was beer, wine, liquor. Oh, we doing shots, shots. You know. Oh, we going on the happy hour. I'm happy. I was drinking myself away, man, and that wasn't good. You know, just because of what I went through, I was self-medicated because I didn't like the treatment that I was receiving. But that doctor has to do what? First, do no harm. And that's part of their motto in the healthcare profession is to first do no harm. If you go to them and say, hey, this medication ain't working for me, uh, you want me to be home in a vegetative state, but you don't want to compensate me, uh, you know, for the illness that I'm telling you uh that I'm suffering from, but it's fine for me to be home in a vegetative state. No, I need to find my balance. And my balance ain't coming from the drug. Well, we can give you a lower dose. How about no dose? How about you really do your job and treat the issue and not the symptom, you know? And sometimes treating the issue is not just going back in your past to find out what happened because it might not be there. It might be something present. How I stop these nightmares? Well, what do you do during the day? I was going to bars. I was doing all kinds of stuff uh, that mentally I knew that, okay, if a fight break out, I'm gonna want to be in that fight or I'm gonna want to get out of here. And if I can't get out of here because it's only one exit, then I'm gonna want to be in that fight. So why not remove myself from those kind of environments and not go to those places? And that's eliminating one trigger. See, it's like an onion. It's many layers. It's many triggers, but you just got to figure out what they are. And that's why you should go to those support groups and get those exercises. You can go home and color those books they give you and do those writing exercises and uh, surround yourself with good supported people, whether they're family or if you ain't got family, go find some friends that actually care about you, that actually might have been through or know somebody that been through what you've been through and know how to cope. Go find those people. It's nothing wrong with seeking help.
Well said. Yeah, man, this has been an awesome podcast. We went from laughing, serious, about to cry. Man, I didn't even know this. I've been your brother for the longest time. I didn't know half this stuff, but yeah, man, I'm glad
I forever.
forever. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go that deep, but yeah, man. I mean, I definitely want to thank you for doing that, man, and just sharing because I mean, it's not just for me, it's not for the guy, it's just for the guy or that woman that's sitting in their house that because I mean, we all been away from the, you mean we've been detached for like 20 years but 10, 15 years, but still those wounds don't go nowhere. Like you said, they don't go. I mean, at some point you
It's
have
a
to face it.
yeah, it's an unseen injury.
Mm. Yeah. So, where can people find you, man? So I will go ahead and put your Facebook down in the show notes, and if somebody want to reach out to you, just maybe just want to
Uh,
have a chat. I mean, I can put it down there for you.
yeah, you can put my information out there. You can reach me at what is my Facebook? I don't know my name.
I got you.
If
I
I
got you.
can know my name, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm pretty sure somebody will reach out and just because they're gonna be sitting back
yeah,
like, I can relate to this guy.
yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Freedom 19. No, it's Freedom's Famous. That's my IG. All one word.
Okay.
Uh, my Facebook. Joy Big Cousin Almighty Morris.
All right. Cool.
You know.
But before we end this podcast, I gotta let everybody know. I mean, we've been through ups and downs, but I got to let you know this dude right here can cook. He took the passion from the war zone to the kitchen.
Yeah, that on playground.
And before we end, I wonder where did that come from? The passion to cook. Was it a childhood?
Man, no, that started when I was 11. I made some pancakes on a Saturday morning and at grandma's house where you burnt that mattress up.
I was a little kid when I started learning about fire, trying to burn the whole.
Yo, but I made some pancakes one morning and uh for some reason everybody was at the house about to go somewhere and do something. But those pancakes just looked so good and it had a nice crisp on them and color, all of that. And he was like, "Oh, can you make me some?" And so I started cooking for them, making pancakes. And they all came out the same and they tore the mugs up. But yo, um, your dad, he was our dad first. I don't care what you say, even though that's your biological. He was our dad first. he he used to make carrot cake, and we used to be in the kitchen with him Saturday morning making carrot cakes, and he would go out and sell them. And that was when I really first started uh taking the interest in cooking back in 74, 75, 76, right before you was born, before he became our dad. Yeah, but that was when I mean we used to go to church and do the cooking classes and stuff down at the center and stuff like that, making pies and stuff like that. But um, yeah, when I got out, I had to find something else to do that I was passionate about doing, and I went to the community college in Delaware County, and they had the police academy there. I was like, "Oh, I should be a cop." And then I thought about it. I was like, I said, "No, man." I said, "I had enough adrenaline for a lifetime." I said, "Nah." So I went into the hospitality program because they had cooking, but I didn't know I had to do all the academic to get to the cooking. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead somewhere else. So I went to culinary school, and that's when uh, I found out that I was good at it. Yeah, I found out I was good at it then, you know? Hey, can you hear me? Because I lost your audio. Let me see.
Oh, my bad. Let me start off.
Oh,
I had my joke.
there you go.
I had it mute. All right, here we go. Yeah, man. I just want to thank you, man. I mean, for coming on this podcast. I just wanted, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, just to, get people's stories. You don't have to be that millionaire. You don't have to be this person. I mean, it's all walks of life. We all go through the same journey, different types of journeys, and it's how people, tackle those journeys. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I never got to hear the full story, but I just is awesome. And yeah, I love you, bro. And
Love
thank you for
you.
taking your time, to do this. Just trying to help people share our stories. It might be not be the best story for some person, but it might be that right story for that other person. But yeah, thanks again, man.
You're welcome.
All right. And that's the episode for the Nichols Podcast. And we are out of here. Let's go, baby. Go.